Kick the flow, kick the flow, kick the flow, kick the flow, kick the flow.
Older and you could afford a house, or you already own a house, you've seen that shoot up in value. For young people who got locked out of the housing market, actually are much harder to get on the ladder. In terms of those with low incomes, that they were the most likely to lose their jobs this pandemic. There was some good news with the universal credit uplift as well, but that's about to be taken away. So we might end up in a situation at the end of this pandemic where we see the low paid have really suffered, for the most likely to remain unemployed, whilst then facing kind of penury as well as hunger as well. We see the 1 in 10 adults in the country going hungry, whilst the wealthy have seen their kind of wealth shoot up for really no effort of their own.
Yeah, the price of assets has gone through the roof. So those who are in possession of assets, which are by and large the wealthy, they have done very well. The country seems to have split down the middle between middle-class people who work at home and everybody else who is on a moped delivering to those people. How does that sit well with the government's professed intention to level up?
I mean, perhaps not very well at all, right? And yeah, that's a really great way to characterise kind of the economic realities during this pandemic. We haven't seen a lot of this government beyond the rhetoric of levelling up. You know, it's a phrase I hear a lot. It seems to be attached now to every single policy announcement. But I'm really not clear as to what that means for those people who do have, like you say, low-paid workers who are working as delivery drivers, as well as kind of the more deprived areas of this country as well. Until we see what's going on, you don't really talk, it's just cheap.
And the talk of recession was sort of thrown about a while ago, and I haven't really heard much about it since. It seems as though we are still, the whole of society is in suspended animation, and the consequences of what we've just been through haven't been actually visited upon us yet. Is worse to come?
So worse could be to come as this furlough, kind of end of the furlough scheme could end up playing a huge role. So what we saw in the kind of the beginning of this pandemic is it was a very strange recession. You know, you used the word artificial before, and that's actually a really good way to put it. We artificially induced a recession to stop us interacting, to stop the virus from spreading. We also then saw a huge amount of support from the government to ensure people's livelihoods were protected. The good news was actually the beginning of this year, our recovery was roaring ahead as we kind of had the virus under control and as people could socially interact again. But now as we're approaching the end of this pandemic, we're actually at a very kind of dangerous economic point where the virus is resurging. We're unable to socially interact anymore. We should remember 1 million people still suffer from long COVID or have suffered at some point. People are reducing their social interaction because they're worried about catching the virus. And now the furlough scheme is about to end as well, at a time when people can't really socially interact and produce as they used to. So certainly we could be up for or facing a very difficult economic autumn and winter ahead.
Thanks for joining us. That's Stephen Sandeer, an economist who researches inequality, based at King's College London, previously a civil service official who's worked at both the Treasury and the Department for Work and Pensions. So what's the prospect sound like to you that the government from today is reducing furlough payments to 60% towards salaries? Employers now are expected to pay 20%, but I wonder if employers are in a position to be able to afford that. If you run a business, what does the prospect of that hold for you? And if you are employed by a business, are you concerned about what it means for you? 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
LBC.
We're choked up. Young Londoners who want you to hear our voice in the fight for cleaner air.
Too many Londoners live in areas with illegal pollution levels, mainly caused by vehicle pollution. We say it's time to act. That's why TfL is expanding the ultra-low emission zone.
But there's more we can all do
to fight for clean air. Join us. Be part of the solution. Search TfL Air Quality.
To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters. Welcome to Love Matcher UK. Enter the details of your perfect partner.
Okay, so, ideal height and build. Bit taller than me. Eyes. Yes, please. Favourite food? Anything warm? Hobbies? Being vague rarely gets the best results. So at Zeiss, we're precise. Really precise. Engineering innovative technology into every lens we make. All subtly engraved with our signature hallmark. Zeiss lenses. Precision you can see. Available at Boots Opticians.
There's nothing quite like that doorbell moment when your McDelivery arrives. or snaffling fries on the way back to the living room. There's nothing quite like the taste of a Big Mac in your own home. And there's nothing quite like the kids enjoying a Happy Meal in perfect peace. For a minute, anyway. There's nothing quite like a McDelivery. Order now on the My McDonald's app or via Uber Eats and Just Eat. At participating restaurants only, serving times and delivery fees apply. See the My McDonald's app or Uber Eats or Just Eat for full details.
Let's get our COVID-19 vaccinations sorted. If you're 18 and over, you can book right now. The vaccine is the best way to protect yourself and others. And remember, you need your second dose after 8 weeks. Go to nhs.uk/COVID vaccination to book or visit your local walk-in centre. The sooner, the safer. Every vaccination gives us hope.
Remember that winter feeling? Lying in bed all snug and safe, just listening to the deluge unleash outside. At Swale Heating, we'll help you stay warm next winter. Our new online service makes choosing and installing efficient boilers such as Worcester Bosch even easier. No surveys, no fuss. Just a few simple questions. Visit swaleheating.com. Rely on us to keep you warm.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Yes, we're talking about the unwinding of the furlough scheme. Things could be about to get much, much worse because we have been, as I was saying before, in a period of suspended animation. It's almost as though the world pandemic has been sort of swirling around us, but it hasn't actually affected us in the way that it is perhaps about to. John tweets, I know plenty of small companies that have been holding out, but will no longer be able to hold on to staff once furlough ends. The government supported the employee, not the employers. It was a matter of time, says John. 0345 6060 973. How is this prospect sitting with you? If you are running a business, I'd like to talk to you about what you think is going to happen. And if you are employed by a business and you're on furlough, then what are your prospects for the future? Dagenham, G-Day.
Oh, hello. Is that Nick?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hello, Nick. This is the way I see it. This whole project of lifting up, boils down to redistribution, really. Where are we distributing? Where are we distributing to areas that have...
Kick the flow, 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 kick the flow.